If you're about to turn 30 and you still don't know where your life is heading, listen closely. This isn't just about getting older, this is about time and money running out faster than you think. Because here's the truth: you're not scared of turning 30, you're scared of waking up at 40 and realizing you're broke, burnt out, and too late to catch up. 30 isn't a finish line, it's a checkpoint. It's the point where the world stops grading you on potential and starts grading you on results. If you're still drifting, waiting for things to work out, you're not just wasting time. You're losing the most valuable currency in building wealth: early years. Because the people who start building at 30, they're decades ahead of the ones who wait until 40. Not because they're smarter, but because they gave compound growth time to work. Chapter 1. You're not late, but you're out of excuses. In your 20s, drifting feels like freedom. You tell yourself you're exploring, traveling, trying different jobs, living without a fixed plan. And in that decade, it works, because everyone around you is doing the same. But by 30, the context changes. If you're still figuring it out with no direction, it's not discovery anymore, it's delay. And delay has a cost. Financially, every single year you don't start investing is years of compound growth lost forever. It's not just about the money you could have saved, it's about the time that money could have been working for you. Here's the math. If you start at 25 and invest $500 per month until 65 at an average 8% return, you'll end up with over $1.5 million. If you wait until 35, you'll barely hit $700,000, even with the exact same monthly amount. That's an $800,000 difference, just because you waited 10 years. This is why "I'll start later" is the most expensive promise you can make to yourself. You think you're buying time to figure things out, but you're actually selling your future at a discount. Time is the only advantage you can't get back. And right now, you still have it, but not for long. Chapter 2. The world moves faster after 30. When you hit 30, the rules shift, whether you're ready or not. Your career, your finances, your relationships, suddenly people expect you to have a plan. And here's the brutal truth: the economy isn't waiting for you to figure it out. We're living in a time where AI, automation, and globalization have collapsed the old timelines. Jobs that felt secure 5 years ago are now being replaced, not by cheaper labor in another country, but by software that never sleeps. Opportunities don't just come and go, they're taken faster than you can refresh your feed. Skills, wealth, and credibility are compounding faster than ever, but only for the people who start early. If you're drifting now, you're not standing still, you're moving backwards. Inflation is eating your savings in real time. Your peers, the ones who started building in their 20s, are stacking assets, building networks, and buying freedom at today's prices, while you'll have to pay tomorrow's. And every year you wait, the cost of buying back your freedom doesn't just go up, it accelerates. Because in this era, the difference between being ahead and falling behind is just a few years of action. Chapter 3. Drifting into debt and distraction. Without a plan, life will happily hand you one. Work, spend, debt, repeat. It starts small. You get the car loan because you deserve it. You sign the mortgage because that's what responsible adults do. You swipe the credit card because it's just temporary. And for a while, it feels normal, because that's what everyone around you is doing too. But here's the problem: without direction, your 30s stop being about building wealth and start being about digging yourself out of holes you didn't even realize you were digging. Worse, you get distracted along the way. Lifestyle upgrades, endless subscriptions, treat yourself weekends, they all feel harmless in the moment. But together, they quietly steal the money that could have been your escape fund, your investments, your leverage. The real danger isn't failing fast, it's failing slowly, spending the next decade moving, but never moving forward. And by the time you notice, the gap between where you are and where you thought you'd be is no longer a step, it's a cliff. Chapter 4. Clarity is more valuable than hustle. When you're behind, the easiest story to tell yourself is, "I just need to work harder." So you take extra shifts, add more hours, stack side hustles until your nights blur into your mornings. And sure, the paychecks get bigger, but so do your bills and your exhaustion. Because here's the truth: hard work without direction doesn't create freedom, it just accelerates burnout. You don't just need more income, you need a system, a plan that makes every dollar you earn do more work than you do. That means a clear savings target tied to your bigger goals, automatic investments that grow while you sleep, skills that raise your earning power, not just your workload, assets that generate cash flow without you clocking in. When you have clarity, every move compounds. When you don't, you're just running in place, faster. Because here's the part nobody tells you: you can't out hustle a lack of strategy. No matter how many hours you work, without a plan, the finish line keeps moving further away. Chapter 5: Your next 5 years decide the next 20. This is the part people ignore until it's too late. The habits you build from 30 to 35 will quietly shape the rest of your life, for better or worse. If you spend them coasting, you'll hit 40 with less time, less energy, and fewer options. And here's the harsh truth: by then, the runway for compounding will be shorter, your responsibilities will be heavier, and the cost of catching up will be brutal. But if you spend these years building retirement accounts that grow without you, emergency funds that shield you from disaster, income streams that survive even if you stop working, you're essentially buying yourself decades of freedom later. Because the earlier you plant the seeds, the bigger the forest you can grow. And the longer you wait, the more you're just hoping luck will save you. This isn't about becoming rich overnight. It's about making sure your 40-year-old self looks back and says, "Thank you," instead of, "Why didn't you start sooner?" Final truth: turning 30 isn't a deadline, but it is a decision point. From here on, every year will either build momentum or build regret. And the difference isn't luck, it's whether you take responsibility now while you still have time to let your choice compound. Most people don't fail because they never get a chance. They fail because they coast through the years that matter most. And by the time they realize it, the cost of catching up feels impossible. So stop drifting, stop waiting for someday, and start building a system that makes future you proud. If you're not sure where to start with clarity. Take the free money mirror quiz, link in the description. It'll show you the hidden patterns behind your money decisions, the ones shaping your next 5, 10, and 20 years without you realizing it. And if you want more no fluff, reflective truths like this, hit subscribe. Because your next decade starts the moment you decide it does.